Hesselgesser on Purpose was brought to you by the Farmhouse Cafe, farm fresh foods you love to eat. If God Could Bake, where they deliver home-baked happiness right to your door. Alston Computer Services, professional computer service at an affordable price. Bravada's Wigs and Extensions, helping to make women feel and look beautiful. Vincenzo's, your favorite neighborhood Italian restaurant.
In the millennium, souls be looking for a healing, and he's healing them. Filling some of them with his spirit, the devil killing some of them soft.
My name is Robin, and this is Hesselgesser on Purpose. Today we're on location at Vincenzo's restaurant, one of my favorite Italian restaurants of all time. Today we'll be talking with Bill Whitley, one of the owners, and a couple of members of his staff. So we look forward to seeing you soon.
We went to St. Louis for a week and spent virtually a whole week on what's called the Hill in St. Louis, which is known for 100% Italian restaurants in a big neighborhood there. And so we spent time with the owners and the chefs there. They were great to us, and came back and we kind of picked and gleaned what we liked from each and every restaurant. We hired a chef who was the sous chef at Omaha Country Club, and said this is what we'd like to do. And he put it together without a problem. And so October of 1993 we opened at 144th and Blondo, and we had great fortune right from the start.
Yeah, it was widely accepted.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we should be eating right now, with our mouths full and just, giving people the real experience if they've not been able to be here. So when did you open the Lincoln store?
Lincoln we opened just not even a year later, in July of '94, and again had great success right from the start there. Not quite as quick as in Omaha, and I think what we came to find out was that the people of Lincoln seemed to be a little bit more, almost like there was a litmus test period of time, that they wanted to make sure that everybody says, yeah, they're pretty
okay.
good. Yeah, and but in short time became very well received, and we've got a great run down there since.
The interesting thing, Lincoln is so, they're our neighbors, but there's differences between Lincoln and Omaha, to be certain. So Mark, how long have you been with the Lincoln store?
I've been there 16 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're down in the Haymarket.
Mm-hmm.
I'm imagining that there's been some significant changes in the Haymarket in the last 16 years. Talk a little bit about what you've noticed in that, and how it's affected the restaurant.
There was probably about 5 restaurants when we came down there. Of the 5, there's probably 3 of us original ones that are still left down there. A year and a half ago, they built the Pinnacle Arena, which was huge. They moved the university, was a big part of it. They moved the basketball team, the women's basketball team. A lot of events are held there now. We were all kind of nervous when they first built that area down there. We were hoping that would attract a crowd that was well suited for our restaurant, and not so much the college crowd, which we have on Rose Street.
Right.
So, the 4 or 5 of us that were down there, we were real concerned about that. We didn't want that area to turn into a crazy area. We wanted to keep it real family oriented, which it has. I mean, the arena itself has brought great business to us. The basketball has helped, but I think what's really helped is the hotels. There's 3 new hotels down there. A lot of business folks come in during the week, and we're a nice restaurant for them, and a good choice for them to bring their clients to. Real happy. The parking issue has been addressed down there. That was another one of our concerns, but they're doing a real nice job with that. A lot of businesses have moved in around there also, a couple architectural firms, and so it's a nice mix between restaurants, bars, and businesses.
And just as Omaha has changed in terms of the growth and where the expansion's been, in Omaha it's primarily west. In Lincoln it's out to the southeast, And so there's so many new restaurants and businesses out that way. The same thing has happened in Lincoln. And for example, now not as many people go to the old market in Omaha
Right.
as they used to, because they have so many good options in Midtown and out west. And some of that's going on in Lincoln as well. But fortunately, we haven't had any ill effects from that growth.
Oh, that's good news. So, Bill, talk to me a little bit about your story. I mean, why this? I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. Why this?
First off, I don't know what else I'd do. And I just ended up in it by happenstance, because it was after college, and I just started. It was about a year or two after college, and I just got away from where my background had been previous to this, and I just started bartending and waiting tables while I was looking for a quote-unquote 9-to-5 job. Mm-hmm. And Mac Thompson, who was the general manager that hired me, so I blame him on everything. He left to open the Neon Goose, which of course was a very popular restaurant for a long time, and now he has Taxis and Mantra. But he left to open his restaurant, and so I went to Rusty Harmson and said, I kind of like this business. Uh-huh. And that was 1979, and I had managed some of Rusty's restaurants for some time, and then Mike and I opened our own in '85, and so it's all I've ever done since 1979. And like I say, it's a comfortable fit for me, and I'm not sure what else I would like to do.
Yeah. Well, for me, as a patron, for many, many years, what I've always felt when I've come into the restaurant is, even though it's a large restaurant, what's your seating capacity? It's large. You've got a...
It's about 100, 125, 130 in here.
It always has felt very neighborhoody, to me. It always feels like, we could be sitting around just a large dining room table. The food is always consistent. The service has always been great. But there's a feel. And one of the things that's always struck me is one of the things that I think defines the restaurant on the feel are all of these wonderful black and white photos. What's the story behind that? What's the history of that?
Virtually all of them are...
there you are.
Yeah. Virtually all of them are relatives, family, friends of family. There are a few that are that we got from some of our customers right at the beginning, that they said, "Hey, I've got some great photos that you might be interested in putting up." And so we had probably half a dozen of those that we had blown up and framed. And but yeah, primarily it's family and friends of family.
I didn't know that. Yeah, that's really neat.
And there's stories behind everyone, of course.
Yeah. So there's legacy there.
Yeah.
There's that real feeling of family and friends when you come in.
Yeah.
So
go ahead. And there's one. There's a photo in the dining room. It's there are, I think, 5 couples having dinner at Garot Steakhouse in the 50s, and a couple of the people are from the Circle family.
Okay.
And I can't think of her first name, Mrs. Circle. She was the only living member of the people in that photo, and she just died recently.
Oh.
But she always came in and sat there.
Oh, that's sweet. That's so sweet.
I think we had someone recently come in here, was sitting down and saw their grandma in one of the pictures.
Oh, really?
Yeah, didn't know. Had no idea it was sitting here.
Oh, that's so neat.
PJ came in one time, PJ Circle, and he wasn't aware the photo was there. And I knew it was PJ, and the booth was available, and I just sat him there, and I didn't say a word.
You let him figure it out. Oh, that's neat. That's so neat. You have been around for a long time. I mean, the funny thing about the Omaha market is, boy, do we have a lot of restaurants to choose from. And of course we all know that we're kind of known for, we're kind of the pilot landscape for a new venue. If a new restaurant wants to see if they can make it, they come to Omaha, and if they can make it here, as the saying goes, they can make it anywhere. But there's a tremendous amount of competition, and the amount of restaurants that go out of business on a yearly basis is daunting. What do you think has been the secret behind the staying power, and why Vincenzo's continues to be a choice and people don't forget?
I'd say it's the foundation, setting that foundation in the beginning, and then consistency.
Consistency.
Yeah.
Yes. So Jeremy, I'm gonna put you on the spot for a
Yeah.
moment. You haven't been with Vincenzo's very long. They
No.
stole you.
5 months. Yeah.
5 months. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you.
And they stole you from someone else.
Yeah.
Why did you make the change? What attracted you to come aboard?
I would say Mike's persistent.
Yeah?
He is. I've known these guys since I was 3 or 4.
Really?
Yeah, I grew up with him. My mom used to bartend for him in Phillies.
Is that right?
Yeah. So I've known him all my life, and then talking to Mike recently, he convinced me.
Convinced you?
Yeah, and it was the best move.
Nice.
It's wonderful, yeah.
So if you were going to describe, since you're new, if you were going to describe Vincenzo's in a couple of sentences to somebody who'd never been here before, what would you say?
I'd say it's got that. It's locally owned, and you can tell by the feel when you come in here, and everybody, you can walk by and everybody knows your name, you know them, and they've been coming here for 20-something years.
Mm-hmm.
I can talk to the Akrons that come in here. They're one of the first patrons of Vincenzo's, and they still come in here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's the food and it's the people.
Mm-hmm.
I've always thought it was kind of the cheers factor. I
Yeah.
call it
Yeah.
when I hire people, when I talk to them. It's a place where everybody knows your name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a real important part of me. It's part of my training with wait staff, managers, hostesses. Learn 5 names a night, write them in a book, tell me who they are.
Oh, that's very
Don't we all
nice.
love that when you walk in and,
Yeah.
Somebody
hi
knows.
Mark, hi Sherry, how are you guys doing tonight?
Yeah.
You kind of feel special.
So that's the way you train your staff.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
Treating
important.
everybody. That is
You
very
know,
Starts with the
important.
host stand,
and then
yeah.
they pass it down. Another success is been blessed with servers that have been there 15, 16 years. They've graduated from college. They do this, and they hold themselves accountable. They know what the history of the restaurant is. So when you're a new person coming in, they'll hold you accountable, and so they're passing the legacy on down to the newer people, and then in turn they continue to pass it down. I've been blessed to have the same chef, Steve Nagel, in 18, 19 years. Peter's been there 16, 17.
That's
You don't find that
highly
very
unusual.
often.
That is so
Especially
unusual.
when they build all these new restaurants in the Haymarket. I mean, they were stealing people right and left. And so I'm real thankful to have both of those two. Last thing. And, Bill and Mike have done a wonderful job giving us a little free rein to manage the way we want to. They don't micromanage, And
That's
that's
huge.
important. So the personalities can come out, and, we're not a bunch of robots.
Yeah. I feel like where a lot of the businesses miss the mark is, establishing that culture from within first, and making sure that the internal staff is treated like family and
Absolutely.
even a customer, because that will translate out. And I know that I've only been to the Lincoln store a couple of times. My daughter used to live in Lincoln, so occasionally we would frequent Lincoln. But of course, my primary knowledge is of the Omaha location. But I did notice that there was a lot of consistency of staff, that it didn't seem to be a lot of turnover. And I think that speaks volumes. And to your point, having the same chef, for years, that says a lot about the core principles of your business, I think.
You would ask Bill why he got into it and why he's staying. My biggest thing is being in a college town. I'll get a lot of freshmen in, and they come in, and work ethic. A lot of them really had first job, and it's so fun to take them and groom them, work with them. I'm not a big fire person. I'm a person that works with you. We work through our situations, and it's really fun to see them grow in 4 or 5 years to where you know, they didn't know what they were doing, and now they're a leader. Now they're the ones calling the shots, and they're checking people out. So
Yeah.
that's why I stay in it. That and the customers, you know, it's fun. It's a party every night, you know,
Yeah.
and everybody's coming to my house,
Yeah.
and I get to see them all.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I stay in it, you know.
Because it's hard work.
Oh.
I mean, the restaurant industry, I mean, it's hard work. You know, Bill, you and I were talking the other day, and you told me that this was the first vacation that you had taken in how many years?
Well,
To that length of
it
time?
was a first vacation that I took that was more than 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. Because you can't, it's tough. You never get away. I mean, the hours of operation, let alone, you know, the behind the scenes. I mean, then it just starts as far as, you know, you've got inventory and you've got product and you've got training and you've got back of the house just as much as front of the house. And, you know, then when you put a bar in the mix, you know, you've got that as well.
And people ask you, they'll say, "What do you do?" And you can't.
You're a
It's
plumber, you're an
different. It's
electrician,
different. Yeah,
you're-
it's different. It's different every day, and you know, you have your routine, whether it's you're working a day shift or a night shift, but that routine constantly gets thrown
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
by certain things, and so you adapt, and that too is part of the appeal, is that it's different every day.
Yeah.
You know, Bill always said the
Everything.
hardest part is before you open the doors.
Yeah.
That's the easy part.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
the fun part.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
the
when the
hardest
door's
part
open
is-
and you're
Absolutely.
taking care of guests, you
Yeah,
know,
right.
and
Yeah.
the food's coming. That's the fun part.
Right.
But
Right.
you're right. But the rest, it's hard work. I don't think the average person realizes exactly what goes into it, and yeah, and you're tired. You know, there's a physical component, and then there's an emotional component.
Yeah.
There really is, because you're taking care of people, and that takes a lot out of you.
You know, and on the staff side of it too, to Mark's point, we are fortunate in that we do have a X number of employees who have been with us for a while. But Omaha, unlike the major markets like Chicago or New York or LA or San Francisco, where you have many more people who are in the dining room in terms of the service staff, they're professional servers. That's not so much the situation in Omaha. We have some people that I would put into that category, but there's a great many of the people that work for us that it's a transient workforce, and they're just trying to put gas in the car and pay rent and so on. And so the hardest part there is to try to get them to take on the sense of ownership,
Yeah.
when in fact they're just trying to pay their bills.
Yeah. To
Yeah,
feel
so I think that-
empowered and
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because really, all of those people, you know, I was in the restaurant industry for years, and it's getting them to understand that they have a little business within the larger business. Because when they're dealing with a group, you know, at a table, whether it's, you know, 2 or 4 or a party, you know, that really is a business within a business. I mean, you know, they are Vincenzo's, you know, but they're also themselves, and they're establishing a relationship. They're in sales. They're in service. You know, all of those things.
And one thing to share with them too is you don't know where this is going to lead.
Uh-huh.
I've probably got 12 to 16 of my staff that have moved on and found a job through a customer at Vincenzo's.
Oh, really?
Came in, found them, liked the personnel, liked their work ethics, and offered them a job, moved on. So that's why I tell them every
Yeah.
table could be
Yeah.
a next opportunity for you,
Yeah.
you know, develop a career for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. How? What is your top seller? What is the favorite? What do most people get day in and day out?
It's easy.
Yeah?
we all just smile.
Tell me.
Yeah.
Easiest question you asked today.
Chicken soda from the first week we were open.
Really? That's
It
been a
was.
staple from the first week
That
you're
was the
open.
number one seller. It's a runaway.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. So describe it.
It's just boneless chicken breast.
I need one.
Sau-
Somebody get
sauteed in white wine with the lemon butter sauce, cracked black pepper, sauteed mushrooms, and Provel cheese, and with a side of fresh sauteed vegetables. And ironically, before we opened day one, we said to that new chef we'd hired, we'd just gotten the food in, and we'd had the list of the menu items we wanted to do, and we said, Dennis, whip something up for us. and what he whipped up was a chicken soda.
Is that right?
And Bill, tell them about Provel cheese. I mean, because that's why nobody can duplicate it.
Yeah,
Because of the Provel cheese.
The Provel
Right.
cheese, which is, it's made in Wisconsin, but the Italian families in St. Louis, they kind of have a lockhold on it, so to speak. And before we could get it to a distributor and from a distributor, we kind of had to have the blessing from the Goombas in St. Louis, and so nobody else in Omaha gets it.
Really?
There was a time that Hy-Vee stores were selling a Provel cheese, but it wasn't the same, and it wasn't near the quality. And so
So it
that's
sets you apart.
pervades our menu,
Yeah.
and it's just a rich, creamy cheese.
Oh, it's still. So I've never gotten the chicken soda, but I get the salmon soda. But it's got the same Provel.
Same,
cheese.
yeah, right. Same ingredients,
Yeah.
just different protein.
Yeah.
You know, Bill said
Oh.
just a chicken breast, but what people don't realize is we have somebody back there trimming that chicken breast.
Yeah.
So there's no fat around the sides of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of work that goes into it. It's just not when we take out of a freezer and throw it in a pan. I
Sure.
mean, there's
Sure.
some love and care in that chicken breast.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like it. Now, one of the things that I didn't know, because I've come in for years and just never paid attention, but you have a party room here. So,
Right, we do here at seats up to 30 people. We could squeeze more in, but we want it to be comfortable,
30
number one.
comfortably,
And
yeah.
once we get to that point or more, it makes it difficult on the kitchen to get out that much food at one time. And you also want to make sure you're taking care of the people, the regular customers in the dining room. And so, but yeah, 30's our maximum that we put in there. We do a lot of prenuptial dinners, just a lot of business meetings. We've got audio-visual equipment. So that's been great for us. And what it does too is that I know that there'll be get-togethers in there that somebody will come in who's never been here before because they had to come to the party.
yeah.
And that's their introduction to Vincenzo's.
Yeah.
And so,
And then
as a
there-
side, we get some new business from it. Down in Lincoln, we've got a bar lounge area that Mark sets up all the time for private get-togethers, and that works out really well.
We can do up to 40 people down there also.
Oh, can you?
Uh-huh. Do a lot of teams. A lot of the university teams come in. We'll get so many different teams, which is really nice.
So is there a charge for the room? How does it work if somebody wants to
We don't charge for the room. We just
ask that you order food?
It's a minimum.
yeah, we have a minimum
Yeah.
of say 15 people, or it's roughly $200 to $300 depending on what night of the week it is.
Sure.
And then we do work from a condensed menu, but it has 12 to 14 items on it, and they're all the most popular items and a wide variety of items.
And I do a
So-
little different. I give you our menu, and I let you pick out 6 to 12 items.
Okay.
And then we kind of review it to make sure it's not all in the same area of the kitchen. And we've got a couple areas, and so we're not ganging up on one end of the kitchen. So that way they can control their pricing a little bit too, because some people like different items.
Sure.
We also do a lot of catering.
Oh, you do?
An idea that Bill came up with 5-6 years ago, and he had done it a couple years before I did, and it's really great. It started out with 2 pharmaceutical reps, and now we do a lot of catering. We'll do
you?
4, 5, 6 a week.
I didn't know that.
It's great pricing, great quantities,
we
great
are
quality.
We are limited in that we can't do groups of 200.
Right.
A lot of what we do is groups of 20, 30, 40, 50. To get into those big numbers, those big groups, that's a altogether different animal that requires a lot of different equipment, special requirements in the kitchen and so on. So we can't go that big, but what we do and the numbers that I mentioned really is a nice supplement to the day-to-day business.
Yeah, as Bill said, it gets your name out there.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to office, 2 people might have had our food. All of a
Yeah.
sudden now,
Right.
Yeah.
So it's great advertising too for us.
It is. Well, I didn't know that
Yeah,
you
and
catered.
we'll deliver.
I didn't know that, so that's
Yeah.
good to bring that up. Now, how long is this? Because as I mentioned before we went on air, I was talking to some people, letting them know that we were going to shoot this today, and they said, "Oh, Where are they now? Because they knew of the old location on 144th off of Wanda. So how long have you physically been here?
We came here in April of next April will be 2 years.
And how has it been?
This has been fabulous for us.
Another day living, another day living in the millennium. Souls be looking for a healing and he's healing them. Feeling
more
some of them with his spirit. The devil killing some of them softly cause they ain't trying to hear it. But listen, here it's the last and wicked, terrible, perilous
It's
time.
just
The mind fights been blind. A sign that we're living in the days when God said he's really getting tired of man's ways. And days are dropping off
So
like
it's-
minutes.
there's been no downside.
It's a race, who wanna win
And
it?
I would tell you that we were a little concerned
for souls to
when we
get
made the
saved,
move.
for it gets too late.
Because we are a neighborhood
In my mind, I
and we had
gotta
a great
realize
following from our
I'm
little
one heartbeat
neighborhood
from
where we
eternity.
were.
I prefer to be
And you don't
stretched
know
out at my
following.
Savior's feet because my
And,
spirit is willing on my body's
oh,
weak.
yeah,
So
I mean,
even though we're
I got to keep it under control because
Say,
I'm
oh
living.
gosh, the old market is so far, or is it still Omaha? You can get there in 20 minutes. So people really are neighborhood, you know,
Yeah.
3-mile
and
radius.
West Dodge
It is
Road
3
is
mile
almost
radius.
West Dodge Road is almost like some type of a physical barrier that some people won't cross that. But there are a few old-time regulars that I don't see quite as often who live over by the old restaurant. Still see them, but not quite as often. But on the other hand, we've picked up people that live in this area, and so there's been a give and a take.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it is for me. It just seems ideal. You know, there's. It feels like a neighborhood restaurant still. So. All right. Well, it's been so. Jeremy, I hope you have a long and
Thank you.
very successful career
Yeah.
at Vincenzo. It's nice to meet you, and I look forward to seeing
Thank
you
you.
when I'm a
Nice to
customer.
meet you.
Mark,
Nice to
thanks
meet
for
you.
being here as well.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to
Pleasure.
come see you in Lincoln. Now I'll ask for you.
Perfect. Love to see you.
Bill, thank you so much for
Thank you.
taking the time today and telling your story. And yeah, we need. The only thing missing today was I don't see any food. I don't know why you weren't bringing it.
Another day living in them, another day living in the millennium. Souls be looking for a healing and he's healing them. Filling some of them with his spirit. The devil killing some of them softly cause they ain't trying to hear it. But listen, here it's the last and wicked, terrible, perilous times.
Hesselgesser on Purpose was brought to you by the Farmhouse Cafe, farm fresh foods you love to eat, If God Could Bake, where they deliver home-baked happiness right to your door, Alston Computer Services, professional computer service at an affordable price, Bravada's Wigs and Extensions, helping to make women feel and look beautiful. Vincenzo's, your favorite neighborhood Italian restaurant.